All right, let's do a little thought experiment. Forget Earth for a second. We're going to Mars. Today, we're jumping into a topic that sounds like pure science fiction, but you'll see it actually tells us some really fundamental things about how we design money, trust, and maybe even entire societies.
So here it is, the big question. If we actually did it, if we built a new society on Mars from the ground up, how would they trade? What would their money even be? Answering this question, you'll find, forces you to throw out pretty much every assumption you have about how a financial system is supposed to work.
Okay, to make this whole thing a bit more concrete, we need to call it something. So for our purposes, let's just call this theoretical currency Mars coin. It'll just help us get our heads around the massive physical challenges a currency like this would face.
Now, before we even touch the economics of it, we have to talk about physics. There is one single, totally unbreakable rule that governs this entire problem, and that is communication latency. You see, the speed of light isn't a suggestion, it's the cosmic speed limit. And that, well, that changes everything. And this brings us right to our first giant hurdle, what I'm calling the Great Cosmic Delay. This is the core paradox, the central problem that any kind of interplanetary money has to solve. And believe me, it is a big one.
You know, this really gets at a core assumption we all make every single day here on Earth. Our internet, our transactions, it all feels instantaneous, right? It's synchronous. You click, it happens. But the second you try to stretch that system between Earth and Mars, that entire assumption just shatters. Communication is forced to be asynchronous. It's totally crippled by the simple fact of how far away everything is.
So let's put some real numbers on this. In the absolute best case scenario, I'm talking planets are as close as they can get, a round-trip signal takes about 6 minutes. 6 minutes! Imagine sending a text and waiting 6 minutes just to see that it was delivered.
And now for the other end of the spectrum, the worst case. When the planets are on opposite sides of the sun, that round-trip delay balloons to over 80 minutes. That's almost an hour and a half, just for a single ping and its response. So what does that actually feel like for a person on the ground? Well, you're on Mars, you're trying to buy a cup of coffee, maybe pay for your weekly oxygen supply, and the person at the counter says this to you. This isn't just an inconvenience, it's completely unworkable. Daily life, commerce, it would all just grind to a halt. And this all leads to a really stark conclusion. Our current model for blockchains, this idea of a single, unified chain like Bitcoin that stretches across planets, it's impossible. It's fundamentally broken. Any system that needs global agreement in, say, 10 minutes can't possibly work when the network itself has a built-in delay of over an hour. You can't have miners on Earth and Mars agreeing on the next block when they literally can't even hear each other. Okay, so if one giant, planet-spanning blockchain is a no-go, then what's the answer? Well, it's actually a really elegant idea that doesn't try to fight the speed of light, but instead designs around it. It's a tale of two ledgers. The whole strategy is to basically chop the problem in two. First, you build a super-fast, local ledger that only operates on Mars, for Mars, and then you create a totally separate, slow, but ultra-secure bridge to handle the rare communication back to Earth. So the local ledger, this is the workhorse. This is for everyday life on Mars. Imagine a blockchain that's running completely on Martian servers for Martian colonists. It handles everything, buying food, manufacturing parts, paying for services, and it never ever needs to phone home to Earth. It's a system built on local trust for a local economy. And then you have the interplanetary ledger. Now think of this thing like the high-security armored truck of the solar system. It is not for buying coffee. This is the clearinghouse for massive, infrequent transfers. Think like a corporation on Earth sending its quarterly budget to its Martian subsidiary. It's designed to be slow because over millions of miles, security and accuracy are the only things that matter. And when you lay them side by side like this, the whole strategy just clicks, doesn't it? You've got the Mars local ledger, built for speed and daily life, running on local consensus. And then you've got the interplanetary ledger, which is deliberately slow, built for huge, high-value settlements where cross-planetary trust is absolutely everything. They're just two different tools for two very different jobs. So this is where things get really interesting, because this clever technical solution, it's not just about moving money around. It's actually building the foundation for something so much bigger, with some pretty stunning philosophical implications for what it means to be a truly independent society. And here it is, the biggest takeaway of this whole explainer.
The physics of our solar system doesn't just suggest that Mars should be economically independent, it demands it. That communication delay makes it physically impossible for a Martian economy to just be some simple extension of Earth's. It can't be.
So what does that actually mean? Well, it means the Martians would have to create real, tangible value right there on their own planet to back their currency. They couldn't just rely on Earth for a quick bailout or an instant injection of cash. From day one, their financial stability would be completely separate from what's happening in Earth's markets. They'd be forced to build a truly self-sufficient economy right from the get-go.
And this really reframes the whole concept perfectly. The Mars coin isn't just a way to buy things. It's a protocol for interstellar independence. The very design of their money becomes the blueprint for the colony's entire relationship with its homeworld.
Ultimately, what this all shows us is that this isn't some arbitrary choice made by engineers or economists in a boardroom. The fundamental laws of physics themselves are handing us the blueprint for how decentralized systems have to be structured. If you want to scale across vast distances, you first have to be local and self-sufficient.
And that leaves us with one final, kind of fascinating question to chew on. For a colony on Mars, financial self-sovereignty isn't a choice. It's a necessity born from physics. But it really makes you wonder, if a brand new, fledgling Martian colony can be forced by nature to build a robust, self-reliant economy from scratch, what's really stopping us from aiming for similar goals right here on Earth? Something to think about.